Well, first, the tension between U.S. and China seems to be ever volatile and definitely necessitates close monitoring. If we look from the demand, we expect China's soybeans import requirement to increase year on year in 2019-2020 marketing year to 89 million tons. China has imported U.S. soybean. As a matter of fact, the volume has been higher than last year. To put into perspective, for 2019-2020 marketing year, so far China has imported or has purchased close to 14 million tons of soybean from the U.S. And this is close to the whole year that they imported in 2018 to 19 last year. Nevertheless, as part of the Phase 1 trade pact, in the agreement, China said they will buy soybean based on the market condition. And whether we like it or not, Brazilian soybeans are more competitive. And China has bought more soybean from Brazil so far, especially from March to May this year.
Right, okay. More tensions on, of course, the China-US front amid coronavirus. Does it worry you that that may then impact demand for soft commodities like soybeans as we progress into, of course, the brave new world post-COVID-19?
It really depends on which region we are looking at. Definitely for soft commodities, there are trends for government to stockpile their national reserve. Obviously, for China, there's an increased demand for soybean, for the animal feed production. However, if you look across other commodities other than wheat and rice, which are staples basically for the Asian region and the world, we expect demand for other commodities to be basically relatively fragile due to coronavirus outbreak. This is mainly due to reduced demand from food service industry that basically reduce demand for these soft commodities.
Oscar, it's Hadley out in Abu Dhabi. What's more worrying to you? The pushback that we could potentially see from the Trump administration here in terms of pushing for Americans to rely on American goods and that effect on supply chains? Or are we more worried, frankly, about how a shortage of workers, frankly, could impact those logistics and those supply chains? And what's the greater threat right now, do you think, to getting all of this back on track?
I think at this point, the COVID-19 outbreak and its impact to the food supply chain, I think is more important comparatively to the trade deal because it impacts the global food supply chain, not only in Asia, and that will affect more countries other than U.S. and China as well. No doubt that if, let's say, there is trade war again between U.S. and China, nobody's going to be a winner in this situation. I think both parties will be a loser in this case.
And what happens next with regards, do you think, to this conversation with regards to the commodities, with regards to agriculture? Because at the end of the day, this is something that, frankly, the U.S. has been talking about a great deal as well. The potential fallout from this tit for tat with the trade deal in the background. How do you see this playing out? It's what we've been asking our guests, frankly, all day. What kind of actions the Trump administration could potentially take here that wouldn't be so damaging to bringing economies back online, but at the same point would send a signal that they're dissatisfied? I mean, what are you preparing for?
Well, I'm not a political commentator. I'm more like a soft commodity analyst. But I do think that...
Right, but obviously, that's going to play into your decision-making process.
Sure.
That's how you make your bets. That's how you make your trades. So that's what I'm asking.
That's right. So at this point, like what I said, there are risks that tariffs will be imposed on China. Of course, it's not a real case yet. And I do think that before the tariffs being imposed, China will continue to buy U.S. soybean just for diversification purposes and for state reserve purposes. However, if the tariff is imposed, we could see pressure to soybean price, basically. And then we could actually see price below what is being traded today.